The sensor technician aboard the Galactic Confederation patrol vessel Vigilant slammed his tentacle against the console in frustration. 3 translucent appendages quivered as he manipulated the holographic controls with practiced precision. Commander Reyes, the readings make no sense. Commander Elena Reyes pushed away from her command station, the zero-G harness automatically adjusting to her movement. 15 cycles of patrolling the boundary had taught her that sensor anomalies usually meant equipment failure, not actual contact. The border fleet's outdated technology was notorious for false positives. "What is it?" Specialist Grell. "Unknown vessel, ma'am, emerging directly from the restricted zone." Rice felt her blood run cold. The restricted zone wasn't just dangerous space, it was a death sentence. Radiation levels in that vast region would liquefy most species' nervous systems within minutes. No ship could survive there without shielding technology far beyond anything the Confederation possessed. "Magnify," she ordered, her voice steady despite the impossibility before her. The main view screen shifted, resolving into a clear image that defied every expectation. The ship that appeared was unlike anything in the Confederation database, sleek in some areas, brutally utilitarian in others. Its hull gleamed with an unfamiliar metallic sheen that seemed to absorb sensor scans rather than reflect them. It bore no recognizable markings from any of the 17 Confederation species. "Analysis," Rice demanded. Lieutenant Vex, the science officer, manipulated his console with 6-fingered hands. "Composition unknown. Power signature unlike anything in our database. Size approximates a mid-range cruiser, but internal configuration." He paused, mandibles clicking in confusion. "I'm not detecting any radiation shielding, Commander." "That's impossible," Rice stated flatly. "Nothing survives in the zone without heavy shielding. The evidence suggests otherwise," Vex replied. The bridge fell silent as the crew processed the implications. 17 spacefaring species, thousands of years of combined technological development, and not one had conquered the radiation barrier. The restricted zone remained the ultimate boundary, until now. "Hail them," Rice commanded. "All frequencies, all known communication protocols." Communications Officer Tellera, her skin shifting through patterns of blue and green that indicated concentration, transmitted the standard first contact package. Mathematical sequences and basic language primers developed over centuries of diplomatic relations. 3 attempts, no response. The mysterious vessel continued its steady course, now clearly headed toward Confederation space. Its trajectory would take it directly to Starbase Epsilon, the gateway to the heavily populated core worlds. Ray studied the tactical display. The Vigilant Asterisk was the only Confederation vessel within response range. Whatever this intruder was, she couldn't allow it to proceed unchallenged toward populated areas. Fire warning shots. Low yield. Widespread. Make our presence known. Weapons Officer Carrix activated the targeting systems. The Vigilance pulse cannons, capable of crippling vessels twice their size, unleashed precisely calibrated bursts across the intruder's projected path. The energy beams struck the vessel's hull directly, an accident of timing rather than intention. Rice tensed, expecting damage, debris, perhaps even complete destruction if the stranger's hull wasn't as advanced as its propulsion. Instead, the energy beams simply dissipated against the hull, like water droplets on hot metal. No damage. Not even a fluctuation in the vessel's energy readings. Silence fell over the bridge. Rice felt the weight of 20 pairs of eyes from 6 different species. "Again," she ordered. "Full power this time. Direct hit." The Vigilance weapons discharged at maximum capacity, enough firepower to punch through the shields of a Drakon battle cruiser. The brilliant beams connected squarely with the intruder's forward section. Nothing. No effect whatsoever. Her first officer, a Varaxian named Cleith, approached the command station. His species communicated partly through subtle skin pigmentation, and Rice noted the yellow shade spreading across his facial ridges, a color that signified profound dread among his kind. "Commander," he whispered, his skin pulsing with alarming patterns, "that ship isn't supposed to be here, and it's invincible." As if responding to their futile attacks, the mysterious vessel suddenly accelerated, its speed jumping to levels that the Vigilant's engines couldn't hope to match. Its course remained locked on Starbase Epsilon, now just hours away at its current velocity. Reyes faced an impossible choice: abandon her patrol position to follow this potential threat, violating direct orders that specified maintaining the border watch, or adhere to regulations, and potentially allow an unknown entity direct access to the Confederation's heart. She had 30 seconds to decide, and she knew her decision would change the course of galactic history forever. Helm: plot and intercept course. Communications: send priority 1 alert to Starbase Epsilon with all scan data attached. Reyes settled back into her command chair, jaw set with determination. "And someone get me everything we have on the restricted zone. If that ship can survive there, I want to know how." As the Vigilant pivoted to pursue, Reyes couldn't shake the feeling that the galaxy she had known all her life was about to transform irrevocably. Whatever emerged from the restricted zone wasn't just an anomaly, it was a harbinger. The boundary that had defined Confederation space for millennia had just been breached, and nothing would ever be the same again. Admiral Shaterik of the Confederation Security Council disconnected his neural link from the briefing matrix and fought the urge to molt, his species' instinctive response to extreme stress. The cool air of the council chamber did nothing to soothe the agitated ridges along his spine. "Play it again," he demanded, mandibles clicking sharply. The holographic display in the center of the room flickered and reset. Once more, it showed the moment when the mysterious ship, now designated Anomaly 1, docked at Starbase Epsilon 3 days ago. Despite the station's most sophisticated scanning technology, no one had penetrated its hull or established contact with whatever dwelled within. 17 council members representing the Confederation's founding species watched in uncomfortable silence. Each had viewed this recording dozens of times. None had found answers. The recording continued. Security barriers engaged, weapons primed. Xenobiologists standing by with containment fields. The Epsilon commander had followed first contact protocols precisely. Then, without warning or any detectable mechanism, a previously undetected seam appeared in the vessel's hull. It dilated open like a pupil adjusting to light. The beings that emerged shocked everyone present. They walked on 2 legs, had 2 arms, and faces with a disturbing similarity to the primates of Sector 7, but with significant differences. Their skin tones varied from copper to deep brown to pale beige. Their heights and builds showed remarkable diversity within a clear morphological framework. Most disturbing of all, they wore no radiation protection, not even minimal shielding. "We are humans," their leader had announced in flawless galactic standard, somehow mastering a language no outsider could possibly know. "I am Captain Sarah Chen of the Earth vessel Pathfinder *. We come in peace and seek dialogue." The recording paused on Captain Chen's face, calm, confident, with eyes that reflected an unsettling intelligence. In the council chamber, Science Minister Voss slammed her appendage on a crystalline table. Fractal patterns of agitation spread across its surface in response to her emotional state. "This is biologically impossible," she exclaimed, translucent membranes flaring. "Nothing organic can survive the radiation levels in the restricted zone. These must be synthetic constructs or an elaborate deception." The recording resumed with Captain Chen explaining that humans had evolved on a world bombarded by what other species would consider lethal cosmic radiation. Their cells had developed repair mechanisms that allowed them to thrive in environments fatal to other life forms. "A convenient claim," sneered Security Minister Drax, his exoskeleton grinding slightly as he shifted position. But one easily tested. The footage showed armed guards surrounding the visitors. A skeptical counselor authorized immediate detention and biopsies. The humans were to be treated as potential threats rather than diplomatic visitors. What happened next made Admiral Shaterik's scales ripple with primordial fear. The humans made no aggressive moves. They issued no threats. They simply stood still as the Pathfinder's defensive systems activated automatically. Every weapon in the docking bay powered down. Security barriers shimmered and failed. Communication networks throughout the starbase flickered and reset to base parameters, all without harming a single living being. Captain Chen's voice remained calm. "We would prefer to be treated as guests rather than specimens. Shall we begin again?" As the recording ended, the council chamber erupted into chaos. 17 species, each with their own fears and agendas, tried to shout over one another. They must be controlled. Their technology threatens our defense systems. What if more of them come? Admiral Shaterik raised his arms, the formal gesture for silence. Gradually, the chamber quieted. Ministers, these facts are undeniable. Beings from an unknown world have appeared in our territory. They possess technology that renders our conventional defenses useless. They survived an environment we deemed lethal. He paused, letting the gravity of the situation sink in. But they have not, as yet, shown hostile intent. Their very existence is hostile, hissed Minister Drax. If they evolved in radiation that kills us, what happens when our worlds face their weapons? We should eliminate this threat while they are still few. Minister Threll of the methane-breathing Vex Collective raised a tentacle, or perhaps we should learn from them. Their biological adaptations alone could revolutionize our medical sciences. The debate continued for hours, cycling through fear, curiosity, and pragmatic assessment. Eventually, a decision was reached. The humans would be treated as a provisional diplomatic delegation, while discrete studies were conducted to determine their true capabilities and intentions. As the council dispersed, Admiral Shaterik received a private neural transmission from Starbase Epsilon's security chief. The humans had somehow detected every surveillance device placed in their quarters. Rather than disabling them, they had left each one intact, but positioned obvious items in view of each camera. A star chart here, a weapons schematic there, just enough to make clear they knew they were being watched. It was a subtle demonstration of capability wrapped in the appearance of cooperation. Shaterik knew one thing with certainty as he left the chamber. The galaxy as they knew it had changed forever. Whatever decision they made next would determine whether that change meant salvation or extinction for the 17 species under his protection. And he strongly suspected the humans already knew which outcome they preferred. The Confederation's 1,000 worlds buzzed with rumors that spread faster than light itself. Official channels attempted to control the narrative with carefully scripted announcements. Unknown vessel intercepted. Diplomatic protocols engage. Situation contained. Reality proved less manageable. Leaked sensor data and first-hand accounts from Starbase Epsilon personnel painted a picture that could not be contained. Beings had emerged from the restricted zone, immune to radiation that would kill any known species, with technology that rendered conventional defenses useless. And they looked almost like primates. Almost. But different in ways that suggested convergent evolution rather than common ancestry. On Novoterra, a world whose culture centered around the ancient religion of the celestial harmony, crowds gathered outside government buildings. Their sacred texts had long prophesied the arrival of the outsiders, who would herald either salvation or destruction, depending on how they were received. "The prophecy is clear," shouted a robed elder to the assembled masses. "They come bearing gifts of knowledge, but also judgment for our faithlessness." The quasi-democratic government of Novoterra issued formal demands to the Confederation Council. The humans must be brought to their world to fulfill the ancient prophecies. Religious pilgrims began chartering transports to Starbase Epsilon, hoping to glimpse these potential meshes. Meanwhile, in the militarized systems of the Drakon Imperium, Supreme Commander Krovak authorized a very different response. Defense platforms were upgraded, border patrols doubled, and mothballed weapons from the last Great War reactivated without the required Confederation oversight. "If these humans can ignore our strongest conventional weapons," Krovak declared to his war council, "then we must embrace unconventional solutions." The Imperium's research division received unlimited funding to develop countermeasures against radiation-resistant biology. On Altair V, home to the philosopher-scientists whose theories of consciousness had revolutionized Confederation society, academic enclaves erupted in passionate debate. The philosopher kings issued a formal proposal. Humans should be invited into the Confederation as equals. A species that evolved under such extreme selective pressure, argued Grand Philosopher Ixel, must have developed equally remarkable cognitive structures. Their minds may perceive realities we cannot imagine. Captain Sarah Chen and her crew of 12 humans found themselves the unwitting center of this political hurricane. Originally dispatched from Earth as an exploration mission to establish first contact, they now served as de facto ambassadors for all of humanity. Another diplomatic request, Captain, reported Lieutenant Rivera, the Pathfinder's communications officer. The aquatic collective wishes to analyze our genetic structure for evolutionary comparisons. Chen sighed, adding the request to an already overwhelming queue. Any word from Earth? Still nothing beyond the automated acknowledgement of our first transmission. The quantum entanglement communicator is functioning correctly, but Rivera hesitated. Given the time distortion effects near the zone boundary, their response could take weeks. Chen nodded, understanding the implications. Earth had known their mission might result in contact, but no one had anticipated this level of interest or scrutiny. Her small crew, trained as explorers rather than diplomats, were making decisions that could affect humanity's future in this region of space. The diplomatic summit convened at Neural, the Confederation's neutral meeting ground, teetered constantly on the edge of collapse. 17 species, 17 different agendas, and one fundamental question: what to do about the humans? Your biological resilience represents a disruptive element to the established order, explained Ambassador Threll of the Vex Collective, as Chen sat across from him in the climatically adaptive meeting chamber. His environment suit hissed softly as it maintained the methane atmosphere he required. Species who evolved in safe environments cannot compete with those forged in constant adversity. Chen, dressed in the formal blue uniform of Earth's United Space Command, countered with unexpected perspective. Yet you possess technologies we've barely conceived of. Your faster-than-light communications alone would revolutionize our society. Perhaps we have different strengths to offer each other. The summit might have achieved real progress if not for the assassination attempt. During a private dinner meeting, a Dracon operative posing as a server deployed an aerosol neurotoxin designed to target primate nervous systems. 3 non-human delegates collapsed immediately. Chen and her crew merely sneezed. The humans not only survived unharmed, but managed to synthesize an antidote from compounds in their own blood, saving the affected delegates. Medical scans revealed the shocking truth. Human physiology included redundant systems and robust cellular repair mechanisms that neutralized the poison almost as quickly as it was introduced. As Chen recovered in her temporary quarters, she received an encrypted quantum transmission from Earth's High Command that would alter the trajectory of human Confederation relations forever. A fleet of colony ships was preparing to depart, carrying 10,000 humans seeking new homes beyond their radiation-scarred world. Their destination would depend entirely on her mission's outcome. No pressure, Chen muttered to her reflection, composing her response with the knowledge that her words might determine whether humanity arrived among the stars as friends or conquerors. Dr. Eliana Wright, Chief Science Officer of the Pathfinder, watched with thinly veiled amusement as Confederation xenobiologists struggled to make sense of human DNA. The laboratory aboard Starbase Epsilon had been retrofitted specifically for cross-species research, filled with equipment that represented the pinnacle of Confederation technology. Yet that technology faltered before the puzzle of human genetics. "It's chaotic," complained senior researcher Telnar, his 4 eyes blinking asynchronously in distress. The Quatran scientist manipulated a holographic representation of the human genome with increasing frustration. "Your genetic code contains countless redundancies, apparent junk sequences, and repair mechanisms that should be impossibly energy-intensive to maintain." Wright smiled. Yet here we stand. The knowledge exchange program established between humans and the Confederation had quickly become the most ambitious scientific collaboration in recorded history. Both sides recognized the potential benefits. Humans could gain technologies developed over thousands of years by 17 different species, while the Confederation could learn how humans had conquered environments they had long considered uninhabitable. Wright activated her data tablet, scrolling through the preliminary results of the morning's experiments. Your confusion is understandable. Earth's environment shaped our evolution in ways that seem counterintuitive to species that developed in more stable conditions. Telnar's crystalline exoskeleton refracted light in patterns that suggested deep concentration. Show me again. Wright nodded to Lieutenant Santos, who rolled up his sleeve. A medical technician applied a localized freezing agent to a small patch of his forearm, cold enough to cause instant frostbite in most species. Within minutes after the device was removed, the damaged tissue had already begun to heal. Remarkable, whispered Telnar. And this regenerative capacity exists in all humans. To varying degrees, Wright explained. Some of us heal faster than others, but all humans possess cellular repair mechanisms far beyond what you consider normal. In another section of the laboratory, human engineers examined Confederation technology with the fresh perspective of outsiders, identifying both marvels and critical flaws. Your FTL communications network is beyond anything we've achieved, admitted Lieutenant Marcus Okafor, the Pathfinder's chief engineer, as he studied the quantum entanglement array. But your radiation shielding is primitive compared to ours. He gestured to a display showing comparative analyses. You've designed your systems to deflect or absorb radiation, approaches that fail under extreme exposure. Our technology incorporates radiation, channels it, sometimes even uses it as a power source. Commander Liss of Confederation Engineering frowned. Such approaches would kill our operators. Because your biology can't handle it, Okafor explained without condescension. Different evolutionary paths led to different solutions. As the exchange progressed, both sides began to recognize the true potential of collaboration. Human radiation hardening techniques could revolutionize Confederation ships, allowing exploration of previously inaccessible regions. Confederation gravitational control systems could help stabilize Earth's damaged tectonic plates. Yet beneath the surface of cooperation, currents of suspicion ran deep. That evening, during a private meal in her quarters, Dr. Wright reviewed security footage she wasn't supposed to have access to. The Pathfinder's advanced systems had easily bypassed Confederation security protocols, revealing disturbing activities in restricted areas of the station. The footage showed Confederation scientists conducting experiments on human tissue samples without consent, tests clearly designed to identify vulnerabilities. In another lab, military technicians attempted to reverse engineer components from the Pathfinder's propulsion system. Wright encrypted the data and sent it to Captain Chen with a simple note. While we share knowledge with one hand, they probe for weaknesses with the other. Minutes later, Chen's reply arrived. Expected. Continue as planned. Stage 3 authorized. Wright smiled, entering a series of commands into her personal device. Throughout the station, microscopic nanites that had been quietly distributed by the human delegation began their work, not damaging or interfering with Confederation systems, but mapping them, learning their operational parameters, creating backdoor access points that would remain dormant until needed. It was a calculated risk. If discovered, such actions could be interpreted as hostile. But Captain Chen had made the decision that humans needed insurance in a galaxy where they were outnumbered and surrounded by civilizations with uncertain intentions. The next morning, Wright returned to the laboratory with renewed enthusiasm, greeting Telnar warmly. Today I'd like to demonstrate how our cellular structures respond to radiation that would be lethal to your species. I think you'll find it fascinating. The Quatran scientists' carapace flickered with patterns of excitement, unaware that as they conducted their legitimate research above board, a silent technological infiltration continued below. The universe rewards adaptation, Wright told him as they began their work. And sometimes the harshest environments produce the most remarkable survivors. Telnar bobbed in the gesture his species used to indicate agreement. Perhaps that explains why you humans are simultaneously so frightening and so fascinating to us. Wright's smile never faltered. The feeling, I assure you, is mutual. The Drakon battlecruiser Inevitable Victory decloaked directly in the path of the human colony ship New Horizon *. 6 escort vessels materialized seconds later, creating a blockade impossible to navigate. Attention human vessel, transmitted Commander Sarvek of the Drakon Imperium. You have entered restricted space. Power down and prepare for boarding. Aboard the New Horizon, Captain Maya Ortega faced an impossible situation. Her ship carried 2,000 civilian colonists, families seeking a fresh start on HD 217,107 bits, a radiation-heavy world within the previously unexplored regions of the galaxy. The colony ship possessed minimal defensive capabilities. This is neutral space according to Confederation charts, Ortega responded. We are exercising our right to peaceful passage. Confederation charts are irrelevant, came the reply. The Imperium has declared these transit lanes under military protection. You have 30 seconds to comply before we open fire. Ortega activated the ship's quantum entanglement communicator, technology recently acquired through the knowledge exchange. Mayday. This is New Horizon under threat from Drakon forces in Sector 9 Theta. The message reached Captain Chen at the diplomatic summit on Neural instantaneously. She immediately demanded Security Council intervention. The Drakon vessels are operating within their sovereign rights, argued the Imperium's representative. No treaty specifically prohibits them from establishing security cordons in neutral space. This is thinly veiled aggression, Chen countered, fists clenched. You know human ships can't maneuver through the radiation belt to their port side. You've deliberately trapped them. As the Council debated procedure, the situation deteriorated. The Drakon vessels fired warning shots that deliberately struck the New Horizons communication array. Chen, realizing the Council would not act in time, violated protocol and recalled the Pathfinder crew to their vessel. If you won't protect innocent civilians, she told the Council, we will. What followed shocked even those who had come to respect human capabilities. The Pathfinder, designed for exploration rather than combat, took a seemingly suicidal course through the heart of the Mendel Nebula, a roiling cloud of radiation that would fry the systems of any Confederation vessel. Emerging behind the Drakon formation, the human ship executed a precision attack that disabled the weapons systems of all 7 enemy vessels without destroying any of them. The Pathfinder's tactical officer, Lieutenant Zoe Washington, had weaponized the nebula itself, catalyzing specific isotopes within the radiation cloud and directing the resulting particles at the Drakon ship's vulnerable intake manifolds. How did you do this? Demanded Commander Sarvek after his surrender. You see radiation as a barrier, Washington explained. We see it as a resource. Admiral Shaturek felt every one of his 286 cycles as he descended into the secured archaeological vault beneath Neural's central spire. The emergency authorization codes he used to access this forbidden knowledge would likely end his career. If he was wrong, he might face execution for treason. Beside him walked Captain Chen, representing human interests in what could be the most consequential revelation in Confederation history. What I'm about to show you has been classified at the highest level for over 3 millennia, Shaturek explained as biometric scanners confirmed their identities. Only 12 living beings know of its existence. The vault doors parted to reveal a simple pedestal supporting what appeared to be a crystalline data storage device of obvious antiquity. This artifact was discovered during the early days of our space exploration, Shaturek continued. It contains the only surviving records of the precursors, the species that achieved interstellar travel before any of our civilizations had mastered fire. Chen approached cautiously. You've kept knowledge of an ancient civilization secret. Why? Because of what it contains, Shaturek replied, activating the device. The crystalline structure projected a three-dimensional star map of the galaxy as it existed 8 million years ago. Specific regions pulse with an ominous red glow, regions that perfectly corresponded with modern maps of radiation zones, including Earth's sector. The precursors called it the culling, Shaturek explained. According to their records, it occurs in cycles approximately every 10 million years. A force emerges from beyond the galactic rim, traveling through regions of space altered by its advance, what we now call radiation zones. Chen's blood ran cold as the implications became clear. These aren't natural phenomena. They're footprints. Precisely. The radiation zones marking the boundaries of Confederation space aren't random. They form a pattern, a path taken by something ancient and devastating. The projection shifted to show massive structures, artificial constructs larger than planets, entering the galaxy from multiple points. Wherever they passed, stars dimmed and worlds died. The precursors fought, Shaturek continued. They created weapons of unimaginable power, technologies we still can't comprehend. In the end, they failed. Their final act was to leave this warning, hidden where it might eventually be found. Chen processed this revelation with growing horror. And you believe it's happening again. The long-range sensors recently detected energy signatures at the edge of the galaxy, signatures that match the precursor descriptions with 97% accuracy. Chen connected the final dots. And the only worlds that might survive would be those already adapted to the radiation preceding this force, worlds like Earth. The combined fleet assembled at the edge of the restricted zone represented the largest concentration of military power in Confederation history. 73 capital ships from 15 species formed a defensive line, their hulls retrofitted with radiation shielding based on human designs. At the center of the formation, the Confederation Dreadnought Unity had been transformed into a joint command center where Admiral Shaturek and Captain Chen coordinated the unprecedented alliance. Nomad vessels entering sensor range, announced the tactical officer. 317 distinct signatures detected. The main view screen displayed the approaching fleet, massive arc ships, each miles long, emerging from the radiation zone like ghosts materializing from mist. Open a channel, ordered Shaturek. The face that appeared on the communication screen belonged to a being unlike any in known space, vaguely humanoid but with skin that shifted colors like flowing mercury and eyes with pupils shaped like spiral galaxies. I am Overseer Xan of the Nomad Collective, the being stated in a voice that seemed to bypass the audio system and resonate directly in the minds of all present. We come seeking sanctuary. What followed was a first contact unlike any in galactic history. The nomads explained their nature as a species that had evolved to survive by constantly moving between galaxies, always one step ahead of the cosmic horror they called the hunger, a force that devoured energy at the quantum level, leaving dead stars and barren worlds in its wake. We detected your world centuries ago, the Overseer informed Chen, but avoided contact, believing humans too primitive to assist us. We now realize our error. Your species possesses unique adaptations that may represent the first real hope of defeating the hunger. Scans revealed the truth of their words. The Nomad Orcs carried millions of refugees from hundreds of worlds consumed by the approaching catastrophe. They had witnessed firsthand what the precursors had only recorded as a distant threat. The radiation zones are not footprints, explained the Overseer. They are scars, tissue that healed after being wounded by the hunger's passing. Your Earth formed within such a scar, your species evolving in response to the residual energy. You are children of the aftermath, genetically predisposed to resist what comes. The revelation stunned both human and Confederation leaders. Earth's harsh environment, long considered a cruel cosmic joke that had forced humans to become unusually resilient, was actually an evolutionary crucible that had created the very traits needed to fight an existential threat. The confrontation occurred in the heart of the restricted zone, where radiation levels reached their apex. 17 seed ships, each piloted by a human volunteer, executed a precisely choreographed dance through dimensional space that should have torn conventional matter apart. From the command deck of the Unity, now withdrawn to a marginally safer distance, Admiral Jterik and Captain Chen watched as the impossible unfolded. The seed ships, enhanced with Nomad temporal technology and Confederation energy matrices, detonated in carefully calculated sequence. Each explosion appeared to tear a hole in reality itself, creating a cascading reaction that forced the approaching hunger, visible only as an absence, a void where stars should shine, to divert its path. "It's working," whispered Dr. Wright, monitoring the quantum fluctuations. "The entity is changing course." The cost was devastating. Of the 17 seed ships, only 4 managed to transmit their pilots' life signs after detonation. Several Confederation worlds experienced massive energy fluctuations as the diverted hunger brushed against their sector. Millions would need to be relocated from suddenly uninhabitable regions. Yet in the aftermath of near extinction, something remarkable emerged. A profound transformation in how the galaxy's species viewed one another. 1 year after what became known as the Battle of the Void, representatives from all 17 Confederation species, the human government, and the Nomad Collective gathered on Neural to sign an unprecedented accord. The Galactic Alliance was born, not merely a political entity, but a philosophical revolution. The radiation zones once avoided became valuable research territories. Human scientists led expeditions into areas previously deemed fatal, discovering resources and phenomena that revolutionized technology across all member worlds. Commander Elena Reyes, the officer who had first encountered the Pathfinder 3 years earlier, now stood on the bridge of the exploration vessel Discovery as its captain. Her crew represented 12 species, each bringing unique perspectives and abilities to their shared mission. "There's an ancient saying from Earth," she told the assembled officers as they prepared to venture beyond the former boundaries of known space. "The most dangerous phrase in any language is 'we've always done it this way.' Today, we chart a new course." On the main view screen, the swirling energies of an unexplored radiation zone beckoned, not as a barrier, but as a frontier. "Navigation," Rise ordered, "take us through."